Pain is designed to feel dangerous. It's normal to have some fear when faced with new pain or persistent pain. But one reason symptoms stick around is because we tend to overreact to it and stay in that fear state rather than reassuring ourselves that we'll be okay. So I woke up last Friday morning with really intense wrist and hand pain. I deadlifted and done push-ups and pull-ups the night before, but nothing that I wasn't used to. It's possible I'd had an intense dream the night before where I was fighting someone and or I slept funny on my wrist, but there was no obvious injury. Of course, it's really tempting to make up stories about why we hurt, but those are rarely true nor helpful. While it was initially frustrating and I had some fear, I was able to quickly reassure myself that while I was legitimately sore, that I'd be fine. As I navigated my day, I stayed curious and found it strange and kind of interesting that my wrist hurt with some random benign things, but was mostly fine with other things you'd think should really hurt. So I continued to reassure myself, despite some intense pain throughout the day. I'd planned to go skiing the next morning, so when I woke up and it was still a bit sore, I tested it with my ski pole to see if my wrist and hand could tolerate that. And it felt pretty okay. So I went up and skied all day with no pain. I mostly forgot about it. While skiing in the park and practicing a new skill of riding rails, I fell pretty hard backwards and whiplashed my neck. One of those falls where I felt it crack in like a dozen places. Again, it didn't feel great. I had fear, worry, embarrassment, frustration, uncertainty, etc. in the moment. But I got up, skied down to my son, and we talked about what happened, kind of laughing about how many times my neck had cracked, and maybe it felt a little looser, like after a chiropractic adjustment. I was a little sore initially, but quickly calmed myself, taking a few breaths, reassured myself, like I would have reassured my son when he would fall when he was little. In retrospect, maybe he did a little of that for me because he falls all the time doing park tricks and just pops up and is mostly fine. So I skied the rest of the day, continued riding rails, and didn't think much about it. The next day, I had some whiplash-like soreness in the front of my neck. I reassured myself that that was to be expected after such a hard fall. I moved my neck through a full range of motion while staying calm and taking deep breaths. I planned to go on a mountain bike ride that day with a friend, so I got geared up and headed out. And again, once I was on the bike, I had no pain and forgot all about my neck. The ride was great. I was still a bit sore afterwards, but much less so. The next day, today, my wrist and my neck are totally pain-free, and it's all behind me. Why? Because I was able to reassure myself that I was physically safe and then prove it by staying active, as I was able, despite very real symptoms. This naturally calmed my nervous system. Now, I know not everyone is going to ski and cycle their way through pain like I did, but the point is that my reaction to these symptoms, a little bit of short-term fear, followed pretty quickly by genuine self-reassurance, is what allowed them to pass so quickly, so I could see that I was safe. It's normal to react from a place of fear or frustration or fixing or have other big emotions initially, and that's okay. But assuming you're not clearly injured, try some gentle self-reassurance towards the subconscious part of your nervous system. I think of it as my scared inner child. So like a parent reassuring a little kid who fell down and isn't sure if they're okay, try this and see how quickly most of your pain simply resolves on its own.